Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Well, today I'm making an art journal page. This one actually in this video. And in this video, you're going to see how I use Dina Wakley's new Scribble sticks, as well as how I deal with an oops or two that happens, because you know me, always something doesn't go quite as planned. But of course, that happening was actually something even better than what I'd envisioned. So enjoy this video and the oopsies. Well, I'm starting this out by just stamping the women that it's on stamps that were designed by Dina Wakley. Now, these are cling mounted, so I've just stuck them on a piece of plastic there. And I'm just kind of putting them wherever I get the urge to put them, sort of willy-nilly, here, there. Want that random look, but I want to fill in the entire page with just these 3 stamps. Now, what ink pad am I using? I'm using a permanent ink pad. That way, if I get anything wet on this, nothing's going to run. Now, how do I deal with that binding there? Yeah, by putting something underneath it, it basically raises the paper up so that it was about even with those coils, so that way I could stamp right to the edge. Now, I'm just going to start filling in little bits here and there because to me, anything that's like an open white space, well, that's just calling for something to go into it. Now, I'm going to show a little restraint here and keep a little bit at the top open there, that white space up there. Well, maybe not quite so much. That's an awful lot of white space for me. So I think I'm going to just put one more lady up there and kind of just sneak her sort of behind one of the others. So so I've left some white space, but not too much white space for me. Now it's time to get some color on this. I'm going to be using, how shall we say, kindergartner precision with this. I do not need to stay within the lines. I do not have to be precise. I just need to get some color down in approximately the hair area for each one. I'm playing around with all the different colors because if you put a rainbow next to me, I've of course got to play with that rainbow. Now, I do know from some previous play that the darker colors have a lot more pigment to them, or they're a lot darker. That's why they're darker colors. So as I'm using the purple here, I didn't push down very hard at all because that little bit that I've got on there will be plenty to color her in. Same thing with the navy. But I will give you a little bit of foreshadowing here. I did have an oops with one of the colors where I put a little too much pigment for the look that I was going for. Gonna be the end of the world? Absolutely not. You know that I'm just going to call it that oops, an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly. And you'll see how I handle that in just a moment. Now, the cool thing about Scribble sticks is that they react to water. So what I've got is a very old little cup there of water and a plain old paintbrush. By just smearing water on it, these things instantly become watercolors and will just spread and smear around. Again, sort of using that kindergarten precision here still. Nothing precise at all, clearly. Now I'm about to do the purple up near the top, so wait till you see how much color comes from that light little bit of crayon that I've got up there. So as I go in there, by using a small amount of the purple, then it actually spreads around and gave me a softer purple. If I'd used a lot of purple on it, then it would have been a darker color with it. Now here comes the oops in a moment. It's going to be the red. Now I wanted more of a softer rainbow feeling for this, and that red, because it's so vibrant and I put so much of it down there, it's not going to be a soft looking color. It's going to be bright and bold. As I hit it with that water, there is a ton of color there. But the good news is it's all wet, so if I just roll a paper towel over it, it pulls a bunch of it up, and it's very, very forgiving. Now, all that white space on there, yep, gonna fill that in too. I'm gonna do some scribble journaling in here to kind of get out what's going through my head at the moment. Now, what some people might do is wait for things to dry because there was a lot of water in this. And I thought about it and no, I'm not gonna wait for it to dry. I'm just gonna keep writing over it. So that means at some points my black ink may end up smearing or running just because it's hitting a very wet part of the paper. I'm gonna say that just adds to the look of it, because I don't want to wait around for anything to dry, and pulling out a heat gun is pretty close to climbing a mountain for me, apparently. Now, if you're new to the Scribble sticks, I've got a video that I made recently where I explored all the different things it can do, like will it write over lights and darks, will it bleed through paint, will it write on paint, all those kinds of things, and I'll have a link down below for you if you'd like to check that out. So what am I writing about here? Well, I started thinking about all the different me's over the years that have led me to the me that I am today. So basically how all those experiences have worked together to create who I am now. And I realized I wanted a big title on this page, but oops, I didn't leave any room for a really big title. So I decided to handle it a different way. I went and grabbed my wall of words stencil, and then I started picking out different individual words that matched the thoughts that were kind of going with each one of the women. Now, I don't want to do a whole lot of careful masking for anything, so I'm just going to use the fancy Post-it note. I know that always on the back side of the word, that's when I tend to basically go over the limit. So that's why I'm just going to put a Post-it note on the edge, and by using a cosmetic sponge that's cut down kind of small, I can then go ahead and just quickly grab whatever words I want off of this stencil. And there are lots of different words on this one, so usually I can find what I need just by the sheer number of words that are involved. And once again, an oops made something even better than I'd planned. I was thinking one big title for this page, but I didn't leave the space for it. And then by not having that space, the opportunity in that, because an oops is an outstanding opportunity presenting suddenly, was that I got to put little words all over this. But never fear, the oopsies aren't done yet, because yep, there's another one coming. Now, is the oopsie that I haven't precisely, carefully, perfectly stenciled everything, or that one letter might look a little bit smeary compared to another one? No, I don't consider that an oopsie at all. It's something else. It's how dark the stenciled words are. They're so dark and they pop out so much, and it's just not sitting right with me. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is to make that kind of work a little bit better. By taking a black scribble stick, and I'm going over some of the stamped areas to darken them up, thinking that that'll make me more okay with the way the words are looking. But truth be told, nope, that didn't quite do it. We've still got an oops happening here. Don't know what the opportunity is in it yet, until I realized I could take a different scribble stick to help make the stenciled words not look so bright. So it wasn't the black scribble stick, it's the white scribble stick. So by just really sloppily going over it, it just tones down that black and makes it look like it's more a part of the page, which is what I was after. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's play. If you'd like to see more of my play, head on over to the blog at acolorfuljourney.com, where you can get signed up for my free workshop called Permission to Play, as well as my newsletter that has downloadable goodies and sparks of inspiration for you. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.